Murdoch was resting in a siding. It was a hot day, and the goods trains were getting heavier.
I can't keep up with the workload,
he complained.
I should probably tell the Fat Controller to get me some help.
Tell him to put you on lighter trains,
suggested James cheekily.
You'll feel much better. Us mixed traffic engines never get tired, you know.
Perhaps it was lucky for James, because poor Murdoch didn't have the energy to reply. Murdoch tried hard to keep up with the workload, but he couldn't manage it.
Your parts are getting worn, old boy,
his driver replied.
You'll have to go to the works to be repaired.
While Murdoch was at the works, Peter handled the heavy goods. But one morning, just before Murdoch was due to return, Peter fell ill.
We have no spare engine except James,
the inspector told the Fat Controller.
But he couldn't do it by himself.
Could Edward help? asked the Fat Controller. The inspector shook his head.
The two of them with Emily might manage,
he suggested.
It's only as far as Kildane. I'm sure Hero will be there.
So, the three mixed traffic engines were coupled together, James nearest the train, Emily in the middle, and Edward at the front. Then, slowly they started.
Come on. Come on.
Puffed Edward.
We're doing it. We're doing it.
Huffed Emily.
Pull harder. Pull harder.
Grumbled James to the others. The heavy train rolled out of the yards. They weren't as strong as Murdoch, but they didn't mind. They knew that they were doing Murdoch and Peter a favor. Heavy goods aren't like regular goods trains. They don't stop for coal and water at some stations, and the engines don't have the chance to catch their breath back. Soon the three engines began to feel tired. They struggled valiantly up Gordon's Hill, but the strain was beginning to show.
I'm glad we didn't stall there,
thought James.
The other engines wouldn't let us hear the last of it.
But the hill and the weight proved too much for Edward. His driver blew his whistle and stopped the train.
We can't take you off, Edward,
said James's driver.
Do your best to keep your brakes off. It's not far now.
This made things harder for the other two, but they struggled gamely on. Twin columns of steam shooting high into the air.
We're nearly there. We're nearly there,
puffed James and Emily together as they summoned a last great effort. Poor Edward didn't have the steam to say anything. They were just puffing up to Kildane when Emily found she couldn't go any further. James could not pull the heavy train on his own, and the cavalcade soon came to a standstill, a few yards short of the station yards. And there, watching from the station yards, stood Murdoch and Hero. The Fat Controller, who was at Kildane, told the three engines he was proud of them. "You three did very well to get this far," he said. "And now you deserve a rest." Emily, Edward, and James were uncoupled from the train, and Hero took their place. As the mixed traffic engines moved wearily away, Murdoch looked at James and smiled. He then took a few deep breaths and winked. He didn't need to say anything. James knew exactly what he meant.